This was not intended to occur. No takeover was planned by NBC. The NBA did not anticipate a disturbance. Furthermore, the WNBA most obviously did not want this discussion to take place on live television.
They need to go get, well, the next best thing, I suppose. Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark will join NBC Sports as a special contributor for the newly launched Basketball Night in America on February 1st, preceding the Lakers-Knicks game at Madison Square Garden. It will be CeCe's first time in an analyst-type role on TV. She will return to the show on March 29th, preceding Knicks Thunder in Oklahoma City. She is joining a studio team.
However, everything changed when Caitlin Clark sat down in that chair because what had begun as a straightforward segment became something that no one could stop. It happened too quickly to be controlled. Social media was ablaze in a matter of minutes. The number of viewers increased. Clips go viral more quickly than playoff game highlights. All of a sudden, Caitlin Clark wasn't the only person being watched. They were responding to her, not her numbers. Her presence, not her arguments. And since this wasn't a WNBA broadcast, that's when the fear began. There was no women's basketball game tucked away in the back of the schedule. It was NBC. This was coverage from the NBA. This was the main focus. Furthermore, Caitlin Clark didn't appear anxious. She didn't appear overburdened. She didn't appear appreciative of her presence. She appeared at ease, in danger of being familiar. Standing in front of that screen, she dissected plays as if she owned the space, describing time, movement, and spacing, not as a visitor, but as someone who belonged there. People became aware of something uncomfortable at that point. She wasn't being given special treatment. They were treating her like a boss. In real time, analysts responded. You could see the astonishment and stop on their expressions. The instant they recognized that things weren't going as planned because Caitlin Clark wasn't merely responding to inquiries. The portion was led by her. She was looking forward to follow-ups. She refuted presumptions. She gave a brief explanation of the game that even casual viewers might understand right away. And before anybody else could tell the tale, NBC's statistics did. The number of viewers increased. Not slowly, not marginally. It shot up. Early stats showed that her part did better than the surrounding NBA content. Highlights from real games were surpassed by clips of her analysis. At that point, the phrase began to resurface.
So the WNBA are not going to be happy with this. That's all I'm going to say. They are absolutely positively not going to be happy with this right here. Oh, geez, did I say weeks? I mean years. It's getting to the stage now where it's just been so long that I'm forgetting. Like, this narrative has been going on for weeks, months, years, and it's never going to stop. Caitlin Clark could win 10 rings and they're still going to complain about her not winning in high school. Like, I just mean it where it's like, these people, none of this is relevant to anything. Like, it is funny in terms of the relevance.
The Caitlin effect. However, it had nothing to do with ticket sales this time. It was all about attention because power follows attention. And this is the point at which many people find the story unsettling. There was instant friction behind the scenes. Insiders claim that several WNBA players were unhappy to see this happen. It wasn't because of anything Caitlin did wrong, but rather because of what it stood for: exposure, approval, and something they were told didn't matter.
That Clark, the Indiana Fever star with an enormous following within the game, is joining the network's pregame coverage for its debut of Sunday Night Basketball this weekend when the Los Angeles Lakers play the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden. The debut. They picked her to kick it off. Not, yeah, it'll do a couple weeks and then you'll come in. No. We need you to launch this thing, dude. We need you to kick this off. See? And if you remember, Peacock, NBC Universal, they love themselves for some Caitlin Clark. You remember Caitlin Clark's senior year? I forget which scoring record it was. Maybe somebody in the comments can correct me.
The story was managed for many years. It would be a collaborative growth. Stars wouldn't be singled out. First was the league. But suddenly, Caitlin Clark was being elevated in a way that no one could ignore while watching an NBA broadcast on national television. The saddest part is that she deserved it. Just competence, no drama, no controversy, no whining. Reactions changed from exhilaration to bitterness at that point, because it forces a question that no one wants to be posed when one individual receives this much attention. Why her? And the solution is straightforward. People observe. Caitlin Clark was not pressured by NBC. She was dragged forward by onlookers. The numbers were followed by the network. Furthermore, numbers are indifferent to politics. Results are important to them. Several stories state that internal discussions began practically right away. Private conversations, not public declarations. What does this imply for coverage in the future? How can we strike a balance? What would happen if this continued? Since that wasn't an isolated incident, clips continued to circulate. The level of engagement remained strong. Supporters desired more. At that point, the panic really started to sink in. Because once a celebrity enters the mainstream of sports media, they do so as a presence rather than a tale. They cannot be replaced. That evening, Caitlin Clark was more than simply a WNBA player. She had a voice for basketball, and everything is altered by that. The moment revealed something the league has been attempting to control for years, which is why the response from some quarters was so harsh. Pretending that star power is equal doesn't make it so. While some players make a difference, others don't. Additionally, Caitlin Clark just moved it in front of an NBA audience on live television. Analysts began stating it aloud at that point. This is not typical. This does not occur by chance.
Flood said he's convinced Clark can handle this new role. Quote, she's had cameras pointed at her for years, and she certainly always put on a show with a basketball in her hand. And after a game ends, she's always a great interview, Flood said. She's always so thoughtful in everything she says, and to have the ability to do that on this platform with this team, it's going to be a lot of fun to listen to. That's the beauty of who she is. Clark has dabbled in sports broadcasting before, going viral once for attempting to do some play-by-play while watching the Philadelphia Phillies, not knowing Fever teammate Lexi Hull was secretly recording her. Furthermore, Clark was actually in the booth, not doing play-by-play, but in the booth for a Yankees game, her rookie season, after her rookie season. She was in the booth doing a Yankees game. She went to the locker room, pictured with Aaron Judge.
And since others were losing leverage while Caitlin was gaining reputation, it is clear that there are repercussions. The long-held claim that no player is greater than the league began to seem archaic. Not incorrect, just lacking. Because a league develops via the faces of its members. Additionally, NBC recently revealed to everyone whose face attracts attention on several platforms. Sources with knowledge of the matter claim that here is where annoyance gave way to rage. Not at Caitlin, at the system, as some participants felt taken by surprise, some felt vulnerable, and a few discovered something disturbing. They were powerless to stop this. Caitlin Clark didn't request this attention.
Used to be like people in the media were scared to be pro Caitlin Clark 2 years ago because, you know, you were deemed as being problematic if you didn't think Caitlin Clark would actually, in fact, shouldn't have been the number one overall pick, and you know, all of this stuff. Like if you weren't 100% anti Caitlin Clark, there was something wrong with you. At least the general media aren't necessarily like that anymore. The WNBA media absolutely are. Like we've still, the phrase "the Fever are better without Caitlin Clark" is one that was used by commentators. Like, to be fair, at least no one's gone full Cheryl Swoops. The fact Elle Duncan apologizing to Cheryl Swoops is still one of the craziest things. So basically, Elle Duncan said that Cheryl Swoops said Katie Lou Samuelson was more important to the Fever than Caitlin Clark. And that's what Elle Duncan reported that Cheryl Swoops said. Cheryl Swoops did not say that.
She didn't trip when she walked into it. She was in charge of it. The discussion erupted because of this. Why did commentators begin to quarrel? The reasons behind the division of social media. Why there were viewpoints among even neutral fans. It was deemed unjust by some. Some referred to it as inevitable. However, no one could dispute it. The discussion was altered at this point because fans' expectations shift when they witness you perform at the highest level, not just playing but also explaining, commanding, and leading. They want more, not less. NBC is aware of this. The NBA is aware of that. Sponsors are aware of this. This leads us to the part that no one likes to mention out. Attention is followed by money. And Caitlin Clark's attentions simply followed her into rooms that she was never meant to control so rapidly. It has nothing to do with jealousy. It has to do with reality. Because whether people like it or not, one person gains influence when they act as a liaison between leagues, audiences, and platforms. Additionally, influence unnerves people, particularly those who think the system will shield them from it. The fallout is still being felt. Increased demand, coverage, and appearances. Additionally, the numbers support Caitlin Clark each time she appears.
You play Austin Reeves, you play Luka, you play Rui, and we're going to break down how the Lakers offense goes about things, right? Caitlin Clark, I'm going to be Luka, and I'm going to show you how JJ Redick, I'm going to show you, Stephanie, how JJ Redick gets Luka open shot. Something like that. That's it. Clark was limited to 13 games because of injury last season with the Fever, who made it to the WNBA semifinals and fell to the eventual champion Las Vegas Aces. She returned to the court in December, taking part in a camp with USA Basketball's senior women. It's unknown if she will address Labor Matters Sunday, but Flood dropped one tease about what might be coming during Clark's debut appearance. We're hoping to have Caitlin with a basketball in her hand. That's not a tease. That's not a tease. You're not teasing the shoe, right? You're not teasing the shoe.
This moment was significant because of this. Not because of what she said, but rather because of what transpired following defensive remarks from certain players, silence from others, and an increasing awareness that the balance has changed. The spotlight wasn't stolen by Caitlin Clark. She disclosed it. You can't pretend you didn't see what was always there once the lights come on. NBC did not intend to alter the discourse. However, they did. And since the Caitlin effect wasn't limited to the NBA that evening, everyone now has to deal with it. It revealed the true fragility of the previous narrative. Additionally, there is no way to go back this time.